Hi, I'm Tacticus, and after starting with energy and upgrades in last week's part on the new in-game economy after the Mythic update, today I'm going to overanalyze all the other bottlenecks you will potentially face. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, it is not necessary to understand today's video, but if you like this, you will definitely also like part 1. Today we're going to talk about coins, experience, orbs and ability badges. There'll be an additional part on shards and equipment and salvage, and while I brush mythic stages in every video, I'll do a specific part on them and how they affect veteran players as a capstone to the series. Quite the ride ahead of us, so buckle in. And if you haven't used the referral code yet, please consider using mine, BAD60ADO, to get 100 Blackstone in game and help me out tremendously with various rewards depending on level milestones you reach. Let's start with money. Coins are a resource used for basically everything. Applying experience books, applying upgrades, improving your abilities. While your main income of gold, salvage run, hasn't changed in regards to coins, the secondary income you get for playing campaign battles absolutely has. As discovered in the last part, you now have more energy to spend on campaign battles, but additionally, extremists and elite nodes had their coin yield improved by 30 to 50%. I will assume this curve is linear, as I did not look at every single battle. You won't choose your farmer node based on coins anyways. The expected coin bounty is the same in all campaigns. We're looking at elite nodes here. As the changes to extremist nodes, changing the last battle to mythic and some levels you might have defeated being resetted, means only a spare few will have access to that anyways. Only playing elite nodes also became more feasible than ever, with the rate limit per node being increased to 6 there, and for most cases, other than uncommon upgrades, it's still the most effective method. The first elite campaign node gave 66 to 100 coins before, and the last node 93 to 140 coins. Averaging those out and taking the average of that again gave you 99.75 coins per elite node rated. Of course you get double the coins when playing the battle manually and getting a lightning victory, which applies to this as well as in the new system. If you did not do refills at all, over the course of 35 days of battle pass you could expect a total of 118,004.25 coins before. The new system increased the value of the first battle to 93 to 160 coins and the last battle of an elite campaign to 140 to 225 coins. This comes down to an average total of 154.4 coins per raid, which is an increase of 54.89%. Even the first battle is an increase of around 50% already. With the higher new yield, a battle pass would give you 204,403.5 coins. The combination of more coins per battle and more energy to go around totally means a hefty increase of 73.22% in coins. Of course, I compared the numbers for most players' Blackstone spending on energy too. If you want to learn more why I did it the way I did, watch my video on energy from last time. The short of it is, most people are going to spend over their normal spending in the 2 weeks of hero release event and are compared to spending the same Blackstone total during the Battle Pass season as before. The additional buy of 25 Blackstone means we have a slight shift in what you can buy with your Blackstone. You can see the additional coins on screen right now and how much of an increase it is to before. And here's the increase in coins per old spending system. You can definitely expect an increase in coins of around 73 to 79%, depending on how much you spend on energy. For most people, it will be roughly around 100k more coins per Battle Pass season. Not huge, but definitely a nice bonus. And this even leaves out the occasional energy buy and code, which due to the higher coin yield will have more of an impact too. Well, then there's savings. Upgrading legendary equipment has become cheaper, as well as going from level 49 to 50 of an ability. That has been cut in half, saving you a whopping 125,000 coins just to get there. Of course, you can now get your character to Adamantium 1. Applying the upgrades from Diamond 3 to Adamantium 1 will cost you gold. For Hakan, for example here, it's 16,350 coins. And Mythic ability upgrades don't come free either. Additionally, you will need of course more experience to get to the new maximum level of 55, which will cost you coins as well when applying experience books. You can always get that experience manually too, of course. Getting to level 55 takes you 1.5 million more experience than level 50. Here's the distribution. 290,000 for level 51, 295,000 for level 52, 300,000 for level 53, 305,000 for level 45 and 310,000 for level 55. That would need 319 legendary experience books instead of the 199 before to the maximum level. 120 additional books. That's on first glance 60,000 extra coins compared to level 50 before. And where to come up with all those books? Well, for a start, the game now gives you significantly more and better experience books in Arena. Shops also have changed what books they sell depending on your player level. The newly introduced Mythic experience books follow the rule of their books before, being 5 times as effective as their previous counterpart. They give a character 62,500 experience at once. They only cost 2,000 coins to apply, so it is as if every 5th legendary book was applied for free. Pretty unsurprisingly, this will cut around 20% of the cost for applying experience. Why not flat 20%? Because those are big chunks of experience, and if you were to use those books exclusively, you'd of course waste quite a lot of it. Even with those reduced costs, experience to level 55 costs you 28.64% more coins than to level 50 before the update with legendary books, but it's not 60,000 coins, but instead 31,500 coins you have to come up with additionally, which is fine for the extra money we get. We'll of course have to revisit this when Adamantium 2 and eventually 3 come around. Although, with every experience level being 5,000 more than the previous one, we could have a good guess. I'm not going to lose myself in speculation for now though. Those new books are mostly positive, especially your ability to actively buy more experience in general. Before, the guild rate offered 2 legendary books for 300 guild credits each day, whereas now you get 2 mythic books for 1,500 guild credits each. It's the same price per experience, but you can buy them faster. That will of course also depend on your level. As you will still run out of guild credits at some point during the season, that's not too big of a thing, but you can go faster if you like. Sadly, the free legendary book every Sunday in the Guild War shop has been replaced with 10 Machine of War components. In the Rogue Trader before, you could buy 2 legendary books for 23 or 3 for 35 twice a day, or occasionally 10 books for 110 Archaeotech. Now you can buy 1 of the bigger books a day for 57 Archaeotech. While the 3 legendary books offered did give you a markup of 0.5 Archaeotech, this here would be 57.5 Archaeotech normally at a rate of 11.5 per legendary book, so there's at least a slight discount. You can now also refresh the shop for 50 Blackstone instead of 250, should you ever have the need for that. Depending on how often you would have gotten the 3 legendary book offer compared to the 2 book offer, you get approximately the same amount of books as before, but you can spend faster by refreshing now. The old 10 books offer beat the new ones by a mile, giving twice the experience in one day and being slightly cheaper. Those new bigger books of course make you less flexible as well in actually spending the experience, as you have to go in larger increments. This is counteracted by more epic to legendary books in the arena though. I personally have dropped to the 3rd league by being stupid trying mythic missions in arena and losing a lot in the process, and still get a lot of legendary books so far. The 2 highest leagues have had their 2 legendary books in the last chest changed to 1 mythic book, more than doubling the experience there alone. The 3rd and 4th league now have 3 legendary books instead of 1 in the end chest, and the 1 and 2 epic books in progression chests have changed to 1 legendary book. In the Sergeant League, there's now also a legendary book in the end chest, and the number of epic books in chests has been boosted to 2. Those changes apply to the lower leagues more, making them more attractive, which is nice, because with rising player numbers we can't all be in the highest league. Let's talk about Orbs next. First off, you now get higher orb priorities and requisitions as soon as you could need them instead of based on your player level, which makes lots of more sense and makes me not having to tell beginners to save their requisitions until that level 13 anymore. Your orb income will also change dramatically by the changes to guild rates, which are now even more than before your main source of them. The cost of orbs has been changed. Before you were spending 1400, 572, 245 and 105 guild credits respectively. Now they cost 1200, 495, 210 and 90 respectively, for a decrease of almost 15% of all of them. Every offer is available twice a day, even before the refresh per ad. Whereas before you needed to wait for the alliance of orb you wanted, now all of them have been switched to being a draft. You get to choose yourself. Mythic orbs also have been added at a cost of 2700 guild credits apiece. You don't get any more random orbs after your guild defeats a boss in guild raids, but instead you get 1000 instead of 300 guild credits. With the cost of legendary orbs, you can see that this will technically be worth less from the epic bosses onwards, but you will gain a lot of value in the earlier bosses. This means that guilds that got a lot of legendary orbs before will have diminishing returns from some point on, but smaller guilds will profit a lot. Even higher level guilds will now always choose their own rewards, and you won't get orbs you don't want or need anymore. Even with the new system, crafting orbs would have been far worse than just buying what you need outright, and as mentioned, the prices are cheaper. Rewards start out much better and slowly converge with the older system, until beating the last legendary boss, where the total rewards reach 1% higher value than they did before. From the mythic boss on, and for every loop, the rewards scale down steadily. This helps close the gap between small and high guilds. Guilds that finish the loop the 3rd time will have around 15% fewer rewards than before. For that I use the new orb values, since you can buy your orbs with guild credits now and not in the past. We also get double the rewards for the end chest, which will also increase the rewards, and let's be honest, from a certain point on we only care about the legendary orbs anymore. How many did you get and how many will you get now? Hard to compare really, as you don't know yet how often people will actually push through the mythic bosses. So we can just assume how long people will take. I just thumb it and say it will take around the same time for a loop as before, soon. When the first people have a full adamantium team, they tear through the legendary bosses and the bosses before slightly faster. So we'll make it simple. A loop is a loop. At the beginning we will take longer, but as time goes on, killing the bosses will become faster. Before, doing 5 legendary bosses got you 10 legendary orbs. 5 from the epic bosses and 5 from the legendary bosses. You had also earned 6600 guild credits, not factoring in your own fighting, which would have gotten you a bit over 4 orbs. 14 total. Every loop of a legendary boss added 5 orbs plus currency to buy a 6th. Since we have a few left over, we get 14. When doing a second loop 20, third loop 26, fourth loop 32, and I won't continue as not many got to that. Now you get just flat currency. Beating the 5th legendary, we don't get any orbs, but instead 22,000 guild credits, which buys us a handy 18 orbs with 400 credits to spare. Even if you crafted legendary orbs with the lower level orbs before, even if that was incredibly ineffective, that's more already. You could also buy 8 mythical orbs in that season, which is almost a mythic ascension. Not bad. As said earlier, let's factor in the mythic boss as well, and we have 19 legendary orbs. Finishing a second loop leaves us at 24 orbs, and the third one gets us 29. The fourth one would be 34. So compared, one loop is 5 more legendary orbs, 2 loops is 4 more, third loop is 3 more, fourth loop is 2 more. You see, everyone gets more rewards, but lower level guilds get a bigger increase. Now, maybe you still want to buy experience books, which would be fair enough, and experience will still be a bottleneck. We could just see this as buying the same experience as before, as it costs the same and 700 guild credits per boss defeated to buy orbs. How does it look now? 13 orbs for one loop, but remember that it would be unfair to use the old guild credits for buying, as those would have been reserved for books as well. So you end up with 3 more orbs, 2 loops give 16 orbs now, which is 1 more but very close to the 17th, 20 orbs on loop 3, which is the same, and not quite 24 orbs on loop 4, which is now 2 less than before and needs you to defeat 1 more difficult boss additionally. While this might not sound so good, you can now actively choose which orbs you get. You know, in a grand scheme, you need them all. But if I can choose, I definitely need fewer chaos orbs. Mythic orbs you can buy 8, 10, 12 and 15 respectively on the loops with the full credits, or 5, 7, 9 and 10 if you're only calculating the lower amount of 700 credits per win. You are, on all fronts, a lot more flexible now. Now you can buy books, you can buy orbs of your choice, and you can buy charts as much as you like. If your guild, say, kills the first legendary boss only, you have 18,000 credits. That's 60 legendary XP books, or 15 legendary orbs, or 36 epic orbs if you still need them, or 170 shards of some rare characters you haven't gotten yet. For early players, this is a great boon. In my campaign unlocking videos, I calculated how long they would take to unlock the campaign characters available in the shop: Eldion, Gulgots and Akimatos. Now, one boss defeated, even a common one, gives 1000 guild credits, which is almost 10 shards. This gets you there in no time. None of the above features in the end of season chest. They haven't changed much. All orbs have been removed and all guild credit rewards doubled though. If I talk of numbers, I'll also consider the minimum number of guild credits now. If you break the top 1100, that's at least 1200 guild credits more, which is a potential legendary orb. Right now the chest gives you 1 uncommon to epic, 1 rare to legendary, and 1 epic to legendary orb. Yes, you could have been lucky and gotten 2 legendary and an epic orb for a guild credit value of 2895 guild credits. But you could also get unlucky and get the equivalent of 895 guild credits in the random orbs. I won't look at all of these, but some other examples I pick place 1, place 500, around which my guild ranks most of the time, the last batch of places of the guilds lower than place 25,000. Place 1 now gets at least 2400 more guild credits, 2 legendary orbs. Before they got a guaranteed 3 random legendary orbs for a worth of 3600 guild credits. Rank 500 gets the same orbs as the first guild we looked at, between 2895 and 895 guild credits of worth for 1400 more credits. The last rank gets 500 more credits and loses an uncommon orb, an uncommon to epic orb, and an uncommon to legendary orb for at least 270 guild credits of worth, and at most 1786 guild credits lost. This I would widely describe as a side grade. It's not better from the worth you get. It can even be worse, but it gets you exactly what you want and it's consistent. I do actually prefer that. This all goes into the larger point of closing the gap between successful guilds and less competitive ones. Now there's of course the question of choice. Before you got random orbs, now you get the choice, which is great. And before you got the orbs, if you wanted them or not. Now you can choose between other rewards as well. And as crafting might have become cheaper, it's still expensive. and just buying the next level orb instead of a few lower level ones is cheaper than the alternative. So we want the better orbs like always. But you can't actually use the mythic orbs before getting to blue star, and that is in favor of players with a lot of blue stars, as they can buy more effectively. And while you can transcend the common to epic stages very quickly with 10 of the appropriate orbs, you still need 55 legendary orbs per character to actually get them to blue star. You will need a ton of legendary orbs, and so I guess most of us players will buy those in troves, while the players that have their guild raid team at blue star already can buy the mythic ones. Not that those players will need a lot of them. To orange star now you need 60 mythic orbs. Those 55 legendary orbs will cost you 66,000 guild credits. The 60 mythic orbs are 162 guild credits, so the high tiers running away might be less of a problem. Although you would probably need to deduct 10 orbs per character from the total, because you can get them automatically when doing the mythic questline for the character. That deducts 27,000 guild credits from the calculation for 135,000 credits needed. Now, to be fair, getting further in guild raids might not be as important anymore with the gap closed a little, but getting further still gives more rewards, and I'm not sure if this response will stop the snowballing enough in total. As successful players, we get to Adamantium faster, and then of course defeat the bosses faster again. Of course, the power curve from legendary to mythic isn't just as big, so the resource sink won't give them the fast results. It's hard to predict here how this will play out, just food for thoughts. All orb crafting has changed to 5-1, so whereas before a legendary orb was 10 epic, 100 rare and 1000 uncommon, now a legendary orb is 5 epic, or 25 rare, or 125 uncommon orbs, which makes mythic orbs 625 uncommon orbs, which is cheaper than a legendary was before, notwithstanding gold and forge badges. Forging a legendary costs 1 badge and 20,000 gold, epic 1 badge and 5,000 gold, a rare 1 badge and 1,500 gold, which meant a total of 220,000 gold coming from uncommon to legendary orbs. Crafting a mythic orb is 35,000 gold and a mythic badge. Other prices also stayed the same, but of course you have to do it less often. This makes a new legendary orb cost 125 uncommon orbs, 25 rare forge badges, 5 epic forge badges and 1 legendary forge badge, as well as a total of 82,500 gold instead of the 220,000. And it takes 875 fewer uncommon orbs, 75 rare and 5 epic forge badges. A mythic orb thus now is 5 times the cost, so 412,500 gold plus this 35,000 for crafting is now 447,500 gold, so a bit over double compared to the old legendary cost. Still saving 25 rare forge badges compared to before, needing 5 more epic, 2 more legendary and 1 more mythic forge badge now, which I still think is pretty expensive for people that quickly want a few of those. You can also get a single mythic orb in a blessed requisition with a chance of almost 5%, but I see this just as a lucky bonus and not something to rely on. Onslaught will now also allow you to get mythic orbs by honoring a character at blue star or above. The chance is always 40%. An orange star character won't give you any more orbs. Any mythic character will give you a 90% chance on a mythic badge. Blue star characters will give a 90% legendary badge instead. You will also always get 1 mythic shard for honored character of at least blue star rarity. The system hasn't changed much other than that. But as you might have learned from my video on Onslaught, honoring the highest character is always best, at least for absolute value. Onslaught now also offers better and more badge rewards, including mythic badges from Sector 80 on. Onslaught will still be the main way to get those badges in your day-to-day gameplay too. Before, you got one legendary badge only on the last level of a sector, while now you get one for every last wave from tier 20 on. There's also now regularly 2 badges instead of 1 as a reward per wave defeated, which will definitely help out a lot. Now instead of a common, 3 uncommon, 2 rare and 1 epic badge on zone 20, you now get a common, 2 uncommons, a rare, 2 epics and a legendary, which is far better. Before, from zone 22 on, you would get 1 common, 2 uncommon, 2 rare and 2 epic badges with a legendary on the last kill zone as the best outcome. This goes up to 1 common, 2 uncommon, 2 rare, 2 epic, 1 legendary and 1 mythic for sector 80 and on. Even before, it is 1 common, 2 uncommon, 2 rare, 2 epic and a legendary. The rares just get lumped together to make room for mythic in the end. It takes a long time to get there, but it's well rewarded. I went to the now last fight in sector 131 and those rewards don't change anymore. Zone 80 is the best rewards you can get. This, while seeming to benefit veteran players more at first glance, is actually good for all kinds of players, as Onslaught is a limited resource and you can't finish it and not get more badges at that point anymore. And if you're lower level, now you're going to get more tokens at an increased rate. For me personally, I feel like the increased badges really make a difference. How do you feel about it? The Guild Wars shop now sells you sets of 3 badges of each rarity, again in a draft format. This finally makes the Guild Wars shop really relevant. While you can only buy each badge offer once per day, you can refresh the shop with an ad watch, so that is nice too. 3 common badges are 195 credits, 3 uncommon badges 385 credits, 3 rare badges 770 credits, 3 epic badges 1545 credits, 3 legendary badges 3085 credits, and finally 3 mythic badges are 6175 credits. Let's say you are Battlefield 2 and win some and lose some engagements for no particular bonuses. So you use all your tokens, always needing 2 attempts to defeat the enemy, which is a pretty pessimistic estimate. You get 250 credits just for fighting and have defeated 25 characters total for 375 credits, plus the 50% bonus for a total of 937 war credits per war times 6 wars. There's only 1 Guild Wars season per battle pass, that's 5622 credits total. Every war 1 gives another 250 credits at Battlefield 2, which is another 1125 if you win half your fights, including the 50% reward for Bronze 1. The end grade also gives out 2500 to 9000 credits. Let's just assume you're between rank 1001 and 10,000 and you get another 4500. 11,247 credits total for a pessimistic assessment is a bit over 9 legendary badges. This isn't as high as I would have hoped for. The reward crates still contain the same badges as before, which gives you another tally of them we didn't get earlier in the game's life cycle, so there's that as well. Our badge crafting changed from 5 to 1 to 3 to 1. Before, 1 legendary badge was 5 epic, or 25 rare, or 125 uncommon, or 625 common badges. Now one of them is 3 epic, or 9 rare, or 27 uncommon, or 81 common badges, which means a mythic badge is only 243 common badges, and so technically worth less than a legendary one was before. Of course, still forge badges and money cost. Forging a legendary was some badges and a total of 183,500 gold coming from common badges. Crafting mythic needs 9,000 gold and a mythic forge badge. All other costs stayed the same. Getting 1 legendary now would cost you 81 common badges, some forge badges and a total of 50,500 gold, saving you 128,000 gold, as well as saving 98 uncommon, 16 rare, 2 epic forge badges in the process. This means a mythic badge costs a total of 175,500 gold. In total you're still saving 2000 gold compared to the old legendary badges, as well as a ton of lower level forge badges, but need instead to spend 1 mythic and 2 more legendary forge badges now. We'll need some of those mythic badges. To get to ability level 51 to 53 you need 1 badge each, and to get to 54 and 55 you need 2 badges each. Every ability level increase costs 2500 coins more than the one before, starting at 175,500 coins and going up to 137,500 coins for levels 51 to 55. So there you have it for today. I kept it a bit shorter this time. I might skew the results by asking it when you already watched all this, but what video length do you prefer? In conclusion, we get a little bit more gold, probably not enough to offset the effects of the newly added levels and their costs, but it definitely helps. Badges have increased and gotten a new source, helping to keep up your roster. Forging of both badges and orbs has become more attractive. It's still kind of expensive, but if you just go from epic to legendary, that can fill some holes on the quick without running your funds dry. You have the ability to buy every rarity in the lines of orbs and badges now. Crafting has become luckily even more obsolete. Arena gives a lot more experience in the lower tiers and still a decent chunk more in the higher ones. We also mustn't forget that introducing a higher rank of enemy fighters will also indirectly funnel more experience your way, as will all the other game modes that have increased rarity caps and harder enemies if you decide to fight those. Guild rates had a side shift, moving away from random rewards and increasing rewards especially for lower level guilds. Middle tier guilds will at the beginning probably find it harder to fight mythic level bosses, but generally rewards increased up to a few loops in, where they slowly start to decrease. This will probably be offset by players getting their hands on stronger fighters and killing the legendary tier bosses quicker, but only time will tell if that's true. If you liked my breakdown, please subscribe to this channel, and if you could share it around, that would really help me out a lot. Should you still want to see last week's entry, have a look here, and you can of course always watch another one of my older videos here. Have a great day, and you'll hear from me in the next one.